Hey, Chris.
Hey, Sandy.
How's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
Living the quarantine dream, but it's all good.
Yeah.
So tell me about you. Where do you work? What do you do?
Yeah, so I'm Chris. I work at Giant Bicycles. We are the world's largest bicycle manufacturer, and I am the USA marketing specialist for the Giant Group, which covers four different brands, which is a nice position and a unique opportunity for me for sure.
That's so fun. And you're based in sunny California. How's that versus Dallas?
Yeah. So I just moved out here at the end of 2019. It's definitely an adjustment living in LA and getting to live that life, but the creativity and the passion and atmosphere out here is unparalleled.
I can only imagine. I wish I was there with you. I'm a little bit jealous right now. So, if you would walk us through your day to day, what does a day for Chris look like at Giant Bicycles?
Yeah, that's a big question I get asked pretty often, and honestly, every day is different, which is a great opportunity. Not knowing what the day is going to bring, but any day can range from working with our sales team to push out new marketing initiatives for the company. If we need to move specific product, then we have to pivot really quickly, especially in an ever-changing world. We try to be adaptable to that. And then managing social media profiles. We have hundreds of thousands of followers across the internet and across the globe, so being able to try and manage that relationship with all of our consumers. And then I also get to work with our e-commerce team. I work with our global marketing team, and then I also work with our sports and events marketing teams. So I'll work with professional athletes, overall campaign initiatives, our retailers. It's every day really can be different, from managing a social media profile to creating complete new strategies and trying to go to market with different initiatives and supporting that at retail and sport marketing levels.
And for the sake of the students, could you walk us through something like, I think you just had a race in LA, or maybe it was New York, or both, I don't know. So could you walk us through kind of how that whole thing played out and how you integrate and collaborate with the other divisions at Giant?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So we do a lot of big initiatives throughout the year. And so what we'll do is, if we go into a strategy, we'll start with kind of that high level strategy, what we want to accomplish from it. So whatever that main objective is. And then going into market, we'll figure out what athletes we want to partner up with. So we did something special with the Nitro Circus team, is one that we work super closely with. So Travis Pastrana and that action sports legendary partnership. So working with them to figure out how they can help us actually accomplish whatever that main goal is. And then, if we have this deadline of what the event is or when it is, then we'll build out campaigns based off of that. So it really ranges from how high of a level we're going at it, but we tend to partner up with retailers at a local level to do local event activations, just because we are a national brand or a global brand, and having to still provide a very localized experience to all of our consumers is obviously the most important part. We have to be able to connect with them. So we work really closely with our retail services team to make sure that, from the top level of whatever that strategy is at a digital marketing level, all the way down to that in real life experience, we're communicating and, holding each other accountable to throughout the whole process.
That's so exciting, and that sounds like it's very collaborative, which is really fun. So since you've been there a few months now, I guess, how is this living up to your expectations of the, LA advertiser's dream, and what are you excited about going forward?
Yeah, it was definitely a big move. I'd lived in Dallas my entire life. And so moving out to LA and going from the agency world in Dallas and, running an agency there, to being on the client side and moving to a massive corporation was definitely a little concerning. But honestly, it's lived up to every expectation I set and then some. I mean, there's a lot of stigmas, I think, of going client side and working for a single organization instead of working at an agency where you're working with hundreds of clients at a time. But to me, it's all about what you're putting into it and how much, you're willing to work ultimately. I mean, you can take on as much work as you really want. So yeah, I was definitely a little nervous going client side that I'd get bored, but getting to work with a massive team like we have and getting to help lead projects from the internal side of things and work with external agencies and partners is really just honestly a dream come true.
It sounds like it's so much fun. I can only imagine kind of what you're going to be doing going forward. And I'm curious to know kind of how do your marketing initiatives translate into global campaigns, or do they?
Yeah, so that's one thing that we work really hard on, and we're really lucky. Our global headquarters is actually in Taiwan, but our global marketing team is based here in the US since we're one of the largest markets. And so it's really nice having them like right around the corner. Like I can see their offices from my desk. So being able to walk over and talk with them about, if we have this really amazing initiative that we want to partner up with them and get their voice on, then, we can kind of walk over there and say, hey, here's what we're working on. We'd love if you could support it. A lot of times it's actually the reverse direction of they have a larger budget normally for campaigns. So they'll produce some hero sized assets and then we'll help localize that content so that it resonates with the US market.
That's so exciting. That's super fun. And I feel like students will definitely benefit from hearing about all of this, just because it's a very different approach to work than what they may expect in the agency world, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So back up a little bit. Like, what do you love about advertising? Why advertising?
I've always had this weird dream of being in marketing and in advertising. Most kids dreamed of being firefighters and police officers as a child. And for whatever reason, marketing was always what I wanted to do, or being in advertising was. And so it just honestly, in the back of my mind, I always knew that I wanted to go into it. I think I love telling stories and creating experiences, as like cliche as that is in the advertising world now. Like the whole storyteller is kind of overused, but I love the fact that we can connect people of all walks of life, regardless of who they are, where their background is. It's inclusive of everybody, and being able to connect that story to them and provide authentic experiences to me is just the ultimate, dream job, really.
It's so fun. And it's like day-to-day problem solving, which I find really enjoyable. And it's creative problem solving versus maybe other industries or roles in the world. So I love everything about what you've just said. I totally agree. And let's even get into, we'll talk about the AAF. So you and I met through the AAF Dallas board of directors before you moved, and that's super fun. So are you still involved with AAF in California, and what's going on?
Yeah, so there's actually currently, as we speak, there's not an LA chapter for the AAF, but I am getting involved with the district level out here. So we do have our District 15, which covers, kind of the West Coast, Southwest Coast area. So I've been working a lot with the AAF District 15. I've talked with the national level. We are actively working on kind of figuring out next steps, because obviously LA being kind of a creative capital of the nation and the world, really, it's kind of surprising not to have an AF chapter out here. So yeah, that's definitely kind of on the top of my to-do list. It was literally, as I was moving out here, I sent out an email to Allison, the executive director for Dallas, and she put me in connection with some people out here and was like, hey, how do we get Chris involved? And so yeah, it's just been, the AAF became a North Star for me in Dallas, and it gave me a real purpose and, reason to be in advertising and to help see the good that advertising does, because it does have a negative, connotation, I think. So getting to be a part of that organization was such a big deal for me in Dallas. And I definitely want to help bring that to college students out here, especially because UCLA and all those schools out here. Yeah.
So that brings up the next question, which is perfect timing. What would you say, why should college students and recent grads get involved in a professional organization like the AAF?
Yeah, I think from the top down of, the people that you get to meet, all right, like the networking aspect of it, of course, is a big deal. Getting to work, coming out of school or being in school and getting to work with people who are at agencies like the Richards Group or Lerma Agency, being able to work with agencies like at that scale and know those people is a huge asset. And then to me, it all goes down to like that personal level again, like how it makes you feel. To me, not only knowing people in the industry, but knowing why you're in the industry to begin with is such a, forgotten attribute. I think we forget why we get into this and what our goals are. And to me, the AAF it really was that North Star. It was a reason to be doing good work. And I don't know, I used to always hound, the board of directors to take on more work because I was so invested into it. It really became a job, but it's just like any other job, right? If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And I think being able to be passionate about an organization that you also get something out of, it's not just give and never feel like you're benefiting from it. Every meeting, every happy hour, every, connection that you make is just a step closer to, the next you that you're becoming.
I couldn't have said it better myself, and I'm really glad this is being recorded so that we can make you AAF national famous now. So well done. Sweet. That's awesome. Thanks so much for chatting today. And do you have any last parting words or words of wisdom for students about to graduate and enter the wonderful world of advertising?
I think it goes back to do what you love. If you really, people say that it's not true, that if every job is going to be a job, and that's true to an extent. But I think if you do what you love, you never really do work a day in your life. So find what you love and be willing to put in work for it, and you'll accomplish everything that you dream.
I love it. Thank you so much. That's beautiful. Very inspiring in these times, which I love. So
yeah, absolutely. Thank you.